Hello guys, welcome to my channel The Law Cognition, and today in this video we'll be dealing up with the adoption laws as provided under Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956. So before starting up with this, let's see who all are governed by this Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. Okay, so the law governs Hindus, Jains, Sikhs and Buddhists. And since adoption laws are something of a personal laws and it's different for different religions, so only these four sets of the people are governed by Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956. So now if we see the chapter 2 of Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act specifically deals with the laws relating to adoption, that is from section 6 to section 17. So now moving directly towards the sections, what all are the sections and what all are the very important sections that are to be covered for the adoption laws. So section 6 of the act basically enumerates the essential requisites of a valid adoption. Three things that are to be taken into consideration is the one who is adopting should be capable of taking the person into an adoption. The one who is giving in adoption should have the capacity to do so, and the one who is adopted should be capable of being adopted. Okay, like if we see the first one, the one who is adopting a child, for example, if a person is adopting a child, the one who is adopting should be capable of doing so, should fall under the criteria that are mentioned as in the section 7. Okay, like he should be of sound mind, he should not be minor, and all are the criteria that are required, that all should be fulfilled. Then only that particular adoption would be considered to be a valid one. Second thing what is to be seen is the person giving in adoption should have the capacity to do so, the one who is giving in adoption. Okay, like he should be the natural parent of that, or he should be a guardian as mentioned in the other sections when we will be seeing that. So all the criteria of that has to be fulfilled, then only that adoption would be considered to be a valid one. And the third thing is the one who is being given in adoption. Okay, the child, basically about the child we are talking about, who is being given in adoption, he should have the capability of being taken in adoption. Like for example, there should not be a re-adoption like thing, because re-adoption is as such not a valid adoption. So all the criteria of that has to be seen. Okay, if these three are fulfilled, then that particular adoption would be considered to be a valid one. And one thing that is to be kept in mind is that if the laws are governed under Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, then all the provisions that are required to be fulfilled should be in compliance to the provisions mentioned under Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act. Then only that particular adoption would be considered to be a valid adoption. Okay, so basically now if we move towards section 7, which talks about capacity of male to adopt. Okay, so basically if we in broader before starting up with section 7, if we see, the one who can take in adoption should basically fulfill two criteria. First one is that he should be a major, and the second one is he should be of sound mind. Okay, so let's see what section 7 talks about. Okay, section 7 basically states any male who is not a minor has the capacity to take a son or daughter in adoption. Okay, that means he is a major. Second point what it states is any male Hindu who is of sound mind. That means first one is he should be a major, second one he should be of sound mind. And further, let's see what the section says. If the male Hindu has a wife living at the time of adoption. Okay, now see, there could be two scenarios. Like for example, the one who is adopting at the time of adoption he is not married, then this above two criteria would be sufficient to check. But if in case he is married, then he should have the consent of his wife before taking the child into an adoption. Okay, in case he has more than one wife, then all the wife's concerns are necessary. Okay, and if he adopt anyone without the consent of his wife, then that adoption would be considered to be a void one. That means that would not be a valid one. But there may be a certain situations where wife's consent won't matter. There are three conditions for that. The first one is the wife has completely or finally renounced the world. That means now she has renounced the world. She is no more into the family's matter involved or something like that. Second one is the wife has ceased to be a Hindu. That means she has converted herself or something like that. And the third one is the wife has been declared by a court of competent jurisdiction to be of unsound mind. That means the wife is not of sound mind, she is of unsound mind. Okay, she is not capable of thinking or acting something in that behalf. Okay, so now these are the criteria that is to be seen when a male person is taking someone in an adoption. Okay, so now moving ahead with further capacity of female to adopt. This is governed. This is provided under sections 8 of the Act. It simply states that the 2 points which we have seen, that he should be a major, and the second one is that she should be of sound mind. Okay, these 2 points are the criteria that is basically to be seen. So let's see what section 8 says. Any female Hindu who is of sound mind, this is the first point. Second point is who is not minor. That means she should be a major, she should be above 18. Third point is she should be unmarried, or it could be a situation where she is a widow or divorcee. Okay, these are the criteria where the female could take someone in an adoption. If in situation she is married, then whose marriage has been dissolved. If her marriage has been dissolved, like she has taken divorce, or her husband had died, these are the situation, or he has renounced the world. Okay, her husband has converted his religion or something like that, he has been declared by a court of competent jurisdiction to be of unsound mind, then only the female could take an adoption. Otherwise, female has, like if we see, as we have seen in section 7, like consent thing which we have talked about, that is only in case where the male is taking an adoption, wife consent is required. While female is taking an adoption, there is no any concept of consent of his husband, her husband or something like that. Okay, so this is a major difference that is provided under section 7 and section 8. So now moving ahead, who can give in adoption, like which all persons could give someone in an adoption. Okay, so this is basically provided under section 9 of the Act. It states that section 9 of the Act lays down the capacity of person who may give child in adoption to another. Okay, 3 points are there. No person except the father. That means first one is father or mother, or the third one is the guardian of the child shall have the capacity to give an adoption. That means only 3 persons, father, mother and the guardian. These 3 persons are only capable of giving someone in adoption. Okay, if the child has been given in adoption by some other than these 3, then that adoption won't be considered to be a valid one. Like if grandfather gives someone in adoption, or someone like representing himself to be father or mother, like that, these all criteria won't be seen, and that adoption won't be considered to be a valid adoption. Okay, so now moving ahead, there are certain cases, if we see, that have been the court had provided certain judgments in respect to adoption. First one is Nand versus Bhupendra. In this case, basically what was stated is, an adoption validly made cannot be cancelled by the adopter, natural parents, or by any other person. This basically means once the adoption is completed, that means once the valid adoption has been done, after that the natural parents cannot cancel that particular adoption. Okay, that means once the adoption has been done, the person who had adopted the child would be considered to be the natural parents, and he would have all the rights with regard to that. There won't be any cancellation of adoption or cancellation of adoption agreement or something like that. Okay, the second case, if we see, is Gopal versus Kampta. In this case, it was stated that an adopted child cannot again be adopted even to his natural parents. That means once the adoption has been done of a particular child or a person, he further cannot be re-adopted, if we say. Okay, even to the natural parents also, there is no any concept of re-adoption. Okay, an agreement not to adopt is void. Okay, now if we see the third case, that is Kaitai Singh versus Surjan Singh. In this case, it was stated that an adoption made in consideration of some pecuniary or proprietary benefit the adoption is valid despite the agreement is void. Like if there is any adoption in which monetary benefits are involved or something is being given in consideration, then though the agreement is void, but the adoption would be considered to be a valid one. Okay. Now there are certain restrictive conditions that has to be seen and kept in mind for a person to take someone in adoption. Okay. First one is adoption of son. Okay. The one who is adopting a son, for example, a person is adopting a son, then he should must not have a Hindu son. He should not have prior any son, son's son, or son's son's son. Okay. If these any one of these three are present, then he cannot adopt a son. Okay. He or she cannot adopt a son. The second is adoption of a daughter. While adopting a daughter, prior adoption, there should not be any daughter, son's daughter, okay, present with him or her. Okay. Two persons cannot adopt the same child. That means adoption of one single child has to be taken place at by one people only. Two persons simultaneously cannot adopt a single child. Other what restrictive conditions that we are supposed to see is age difference. Okay. If a Hindu wants to adopt, then first what we have to see is that he's adopting of opposite sex, and and when he's adopting of opposite sex, there has to be a minimum age difference of 21 years. Like if female is adopting a male child, then age gap between the adoption the child adopted and the female who is adopting should be 21 years. Okay. No person can adopt more than one son or one daughter. Like once you have adopted a son, then if you want to have a second adoption, then you are supposed to adopt daughter. Okay. There cannot be two sons taken in an adoption or two daughter taken in an adoption. Next, a married child cannot be adopted unless recognized by custom. Basically, if the child had been married or he had got married, he after marriage cannot be adopted unless any custom recognizes that to be a rituals or something like that. Okay. And the last restrictions that is to be taken into consideration is a child adopted must not complete 15 years of age. So basically the age what is given for an adoption is a child who is below 15 years of age could be adopted, unless there is again an exception. If custom recognizes that to be a ritual or good in their law, then they could definitely go ahead with that. But in general, 15 years of age is the maximum age limit for a child to be adopted. Okay. I guess I am clear with this adoption. And now if any query, then please do mention that in a chat box. I'll definitely revert back. And please do follow my channel, subscribe it. Bye bye, take care.